Hey school family, Miss Sherry here. For those of you that I did not have an opportunity to talk with personally at open house, I am the principal here at Wayne Christian Academy, and I have so very much enjoyed seeing all of our new faces this year. Some of you that I did not know before had never even seen in our community, but I have enjoyed meeting your children and just seeing them up and down the halls every day. So tonight we're going to quickly try to go through some important points that we want to touch on. Normally, pre-COVID, we would do an orientation in person, face-to-face meeting with our elementary department and then with our middle school, high school department, so that we can go through just kind of piece by piece our handbook. And during that time also we would talk about other activities that we have. I believe one of the best things about our school is our family feel. We've always managed to keep a real close-knit school family, and that is something we don't want to lose, though I know we are experiencing much growth and have over the recent years, but that's something we don't want to sacrifice as we do grow. But due to COVID and due to us being cautious and wanting to be wise and keeping everyone healthy and in their family as well, we thought maybe doing a virtual setting this time would be the most helpful, and we believe that we are going to see this season through and we're going to be able to get back to some normal activities, and we are planning in the months ahead to do some type of school picnic where we can incorporate our whole student body and just get everyone together and like a meet and greet, and so we can form those relationships. Again, I believe that's one of the highlights of our school, is that we're able to do that. So I'm going to try to jump right into some of the points in our handbook. For those of you, well, everyone should have a handbook, and if you don't have it with you, you can hit pause, run and get it, and then you can be looking at this as I'm going through it, and we can just, you can kind of make some notes. I'm going to share some things that I have, and we'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. You all have the handbook, and I'm sure you read it in the beginning, but may have forgotten. So I'm just going to take the opportunity to focus on our vision and our mission. Wayne Christian Academy is committed to providing a challenging academic curriculum with a biblical worldview. We want all of our students to be equipped with a strong academic and spiritual foundation in order to reach their full potential and impact the future for Christ. That is our first and primary goal here at Wayne Christian Academy, and that is to minister to every student's heart, and we hope that by ministering to their hearts that we can minister to their families' hearts as well. And then beyond ministering to their hearts, we minister to their minds. We think it's important that the whole child be taught, be trained, and be loved. And so that is our goal here. So when reviewing this student handbook, one of the first things that we're going to always refer to is our statement of faith. Just another reminder, and we never get tired of including this when we say we do have strong academic standards, but we also teach everything from a biblical perspective, whether that is we start off our day with Bible, but then we go from math to English to reading, science, history. All of that is from a biblical perspective. And so the students here who formed the world, the students here that God created moral and absolute truths. So every subject, we tie it all back down, all back to biblical worldview. Something new this year that you may have not heard if you've been with us before. You've probably not heard this until this year, but that is our expected student outcomes. That is something that we have put together, and that we have school-wide goals for every single class, whether that class is in first grade, and then as they move to second, third, fourth, and on. So that is something new that we're really focusing on, is having those student outcome goals, and you'll hear more about that as we go throughout the year. The next thing I want to touch on is communication. I cannot say enough about communication. I believe one of the things that will make your experience at Wayne Christian Academy is the communication. That we feel that we do have the opportunity and the privilege to have a small class size setting, and that allows the teachers to have very open relationships with the students, and therefore also have good communication with you parents as well. The key to that communication this year, we are very much enforcing and implementing the student agendas, whether it's in pre-K all the way up to 9th grade. The student agendas are key to ongoing communication. It is something that if you haven't made it a habit already, please make it a habit every single day to check their agenda. If it's just to see what a good day they had, if it's to see the homework, if it's to see something they need to work on, no matter, we need you checking those agendas. The next thing are the grades for the students. We have a system, a school-wide program called My School Works. You should have been given a login information for your child. If for some reason you do not have that, or you've tried to log in, which I would definitely recommend you go ahead and log in if you haven't. If you've tried to log in and you're having any kind of trouble, please give Miss Candace a call at the front desk. There's always glitches to everything. We all know how technology works. It works until it doesn't, and there's always things that happen, and she can reset if needed. Whatever, let her know. We do not want you to get all the way to the end of the 9 weeks or to the end of the first semester and say, I had no idea. We're telling you now, you have access to seeing every grade that's put in the grade book, in the grading system for your students. So please be checking that and make sure you have no issues there. In elementary, this is going to be more for an elementary thing, but you're going to be seeing weekly papers go home. Usually, some teachers do it on Friday, some teachers send theirs home on Monday or Tuesday. I'm sure the teacher that your student has will let you know what day those papers are going home, but you'll be seeing those. Now, once we get up to middle school, that is something that stops really with the 6th grade. It's at that point that we very much promote the student's responsibility to share their papers and their tests with their parents. Now, you may say, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. Well, we're going to promote and push and do everything we can on this end to make that happen. Again, you have access to those grades on Schoolworks, but we would love the support of you as a parent to have your 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grader show you good grades, bad grades, grades in between, no matter what. But you're not going to see them just coming home in their folder like you did in elementary. They're going to be given back to the student, and they're going to be, encouraged and asked to send those home so that parents see them. But we need your help there at home to kind of back us up with that. Weekly newsletters, you'll see those going home more so in elementary. You don't see those in middle school, high school. I know the teachers use Remind a lot for that communication. It's not that we don't communicate in the middle and the high school level. We just encourage responsibility on their part so that they learn good habits. One Call Now is a messaging system that we use school-wide, and I know some of you may think we send out too many reminds, but we want to make it hard for anyone to miss anything that's going on. So we're going to try to get that information out to you more than once, because we all know we're busy, everybody's schedule is wide open, so we are trying to do our part on this end to keep you up to date on things that are going on. One thing that we will do for sure this year, at the end of our first 9 weeks, I don't have the date in front of me, but I believe it's around the 2nd or 3rd week of October, it will be mandatory that every parent come in and meet with the teacher. And that is it's the first quarter. Some of you are transferring in, some of you have been with us, but our teachers want the opportunity to sit down with you and let you know of progress, let you know things that we are wanting to do for extra challenge if we feel that that's what's needed for that student. We want to make an effort on this end to personally sit down with you and let you know how things are going with your child. When I speak of communication, I do want to clarify really the order and the progression of communication. The teacher of your students' class should be the first that you reach out to if you have a question or if there's a problem. For example, if it is something that happened in class that day, you want to reach out to your student's teacher. If it's something that happened in PE, you would reach out to the PE teacher. If it's something that happened in art, you'd reach out to the art teacher. I know many families, or moms, dads will try to reach out to me. And I would rather you not do that, because I don't know the situation. I wasn't in class with the student. So what I need you to do is reach out to this teacher first, and then if it is a situation where you and the teacher cannot resolve it, that is where I come into play. Again, we encourage communication, but we need you to take the correct steps so that we handle every situation correctly. If you don't have the number, then feel free to call Miss Candace first thing that morning, and she will get that message to the teacher, and they will get with you. We do ask that you're respectful of the teacher's time, and not that any of you wouldn't be, but you know, the teachers have families, they have family time in the evenings. So we ask if possible, I know everybody's working around work schedules, but if possible to reach out to that teacher if you need to before 5 p.m. In the evenings, so that they can have time with their family in the evenings as well. Administration, I'm asked that you do not contact me concerning a situation unless you have contacted the teacher first. If you give me a call and you try to discuss something with me, the first thing I'm going to ask is, have you talked to the teacher? Just because I want to handle each situation correctly. And if you call me not knowing and I don't know what's happened, it's going to be hard for me to help. So please talk to your teachers first. So communication, and now we have discipline policy. Each teacher, the discipline policies may vary just a little bit, really from on the elementary level, and then become a little different from the middle and the high school level for obvious reasons. But each teacher will have a personal classroom management plan that I'm sure she's already made you aware of at this point. Again, those agendas are vital, and we need for you to make sure you're checking them every day, because the teachers, we have instructed the teachers to jot everything down in those agendas so that you can see it. So on a day, we have certain letters that represent certain issues they might have had, whether it's disrespectful behavior, uniform violation, any of those things, that's going to be listed in the agenda, so that if a child comes home and said, yeah, I got in trouble today, what for? I don't know. Check that agenda. They'll be able to tell you, which if they're in middle school, high school, they know what the violation was for or if there was an issue. But I know for the younger ones, we're going to be really careful and try to be very specific. And then also you're going to get, if it's something serious, you're going to get a phone call from that teacher. The 6th through 9th grade, we have implemented that they can wear PE uniforms this year just during PE class. That is not something that they wear all day to school. They simply change out for PE. The school t-shirts, they may be worn on Thursdays and Fridays, and then Fridays they can wear their school tees with jeans. That's just something Fridays are a little more of a casual day for us, and so we want to allow them to do that. There may be times that we do no uniforms and they get to just dress in regular clothes. We will let you know when those days are. That's something that would go home in your agendas, in the students' agendas as well. Keep in mind, belts must be worn and shirts tucked in for all students in the 1st through the 9th grade. And all outerwear should be embroidered and the solid school colors with no logo. That they're not allowed to wear any outerwear that doesn't have the school logo. Everything needs to have the school logo, and we are enforcing that. So you may see, if someone comes out of uniform, you'll see a uniform violation note in their agendas. The only other thing that we've seen come up over the past 2 weeks is the plaid. We did add a plaid skirt to our uniform for the girls, but the only plaid that is part of the uniform is the one that you can purchase off of landsend.com. So you can't go just try to look for something that looks like it. It has to be that plaid. You will see in your handbook silent lunch and ISS which is in-school suspension, will be implemented this year when necessary. I hope that we do not have to implement it at all this year. But if we do, you will be made aware of it before that happens, before it takes place. And again, those agendas are key to knowing all of that. A couple of reminders. Tardies, please keep in mind, if you have a 6th through 9th grade student, they can accompany a younger student to the front office if they are tardy. So if you have a family, a multi-sibling family, and you are tardy to school, which is anything after 8, you arrive anytime after 8, the older siblings can take that younger sibling. In fact, we ask that they do that to walk to the front office with Miss Candace and get checked in. That is just for safety purposes. Now, parents of a pre-K through 5th grader, we do ask that you walk your student in. I know this may not be convenient. I know we all run late some mornings, but for safety, and that is what is very important to us, you must park your car and walk your student in to sign them in if they are tardy. A student must be present on a school day until 11:30 a.m. to be or they will be counted absent. If they stay to 11:30, they are considered present, but if they show up anytime after that, they will not be counted present for that day. And now if they need to come check out, maybe for an orthodontist appointment, a doctor's appointment, something like that, and they check back in, that's perfectly fine. That's not a problem. When regarding checkouts, if you have a student and if your student needs to be checked out, they must be checked out before 2:40 p.m. If you've been here, well, everyone's been here for the past 2 weeks. You know how kind of crazy things can get around 2:40 when we start getting ready to line up for dismissal. Our classes are getting ready for dismissal around 2:40, getting ready to go outside, so we can't have parents coming in trying to check out, parents stopped in the pickup line trying to check students out. It's not safe, and it really causes a lot of chaos, and we're trying to keep things moving as smooth as possible. Now, when we talk about attendance, I know again, COVID is of utmost concern right now, and that is the season in which we are in. However, attendance is very important. And in order for your student to have a successful school year, attendance is vital. Now, we want everyone to be cautious. We want them to be careful. And if your student is showing symptoms of COVID or running a fever, absolutely, we want them staying home. But what we do not want to see is our students and families using COVID as an excuse. And unfortunately, we are already beginning to see some of that. And so that is going to make it harder for your student to stay on track with their schoolwork. It's hard for the teachers when they're trying to keep up with makeup work. So though we want you to be aware, if your student is well, we need them here at school. They need to be at school. They need to be hearing what's going on in the classroom. They need to be able to catch up in their, stay caught up in their schoolwork. And so in the event that your student is seriously ill or has a sickness, please remember, if you'll make the teacher aware, they will work on throughout the day, getting all of the paperwork up, your books and all that ready, but you need to make arrangements to pick that work up that day so that the student has opportunity to get it completed and get it turned in to their teacher the next day. Afternoon pickup. If you are lining up before 2:40, and we know some like to get there as early as possible, we ask you, do not, please, under any circumstance, do not line up in our parking lot. You need to line up across the road where the recreation complex is located. You can begin lining up right there across the street, and you can make your way in at 2:40. You can begin forming the line over here in our parking lot. The line should not form before 2:40 so that if we have an emergency for any reason or someone needs to get in and out because they came earlier to check out their student, we don't want to block anyone in. So remember, lane 1, which is the closest lane to the school, that is for pre-K through 5th grade students who do not have an older sibling in the 6th through 9th grade. That's lane 1. Lane 2, closest to the road, is for the 6th through 9th grade students and their younger siblings. So keep lane 1, lane 2 in your mind, and who needs to go where there. Quick reminders, on all of the major holidays that we take, the Friday prior to that holiday is always going to be a half a day. That is something that we've kind of put that in place over the past 2 years, because it seems that our school family love the opportunity to get out of town as quick as possible on a long weekend. And so we have found that we have minimal students on those days, or they check out early. And so just to, again, family is what's most important here at Wayne Christian Academy. And so we want to make it easier for those students to be able to leave and attend or go out of town or whatever they have going on for that holiday weekend. On those days, aftercare is not provided. On a day that we are released at 12, there is no aftercare. We do have two head workers for aftercare, and that's Miss Kelly Goober and Miss Kelly Westbury. Those of you who have utilized aftercare up to this point, you both have met them, and they've given you all the information needed to get in touch with them in the afternoons. That, I feel like I've raced through all of this, but that pretty much covers a lot of what we cover in our handbook. One thing that I did remember, going back to academics and the importance of academics, part of academics for us is Bible class. There are two things that I think of. Bible class is important, and it counts. From whether it's pre-K all the way to 9th grade. We have a Bible class. The older the students that are taking tests, they do matter, and those grades do count. Also, homework. Homework is a huge deal with academics here at Wayne Christian Academy. Homework is something that, honestly, it's an easy grade because part of our academics is training character and training hard work. And you know, every student's going to come up to things that are hard for them. And part of us doing what we feel like is best and training our children and training these students is teaching them to do what's hard. And sometimes homework's not fun. We all know that. But it is something that we are going to require of the students, and we're going to ask that you as a parent view that important. And so you help us at home. We're not going to try to send loads of homework home, but there are some things that's just absolutely needed, and that's where we're going to ask for parents to come in and help support us and make sure students are doing that they're doing the homework at home in the evenings, bringing it back to school the next day. That is a big deal to all of our teachers. The other thing that as we try to wrap this up, I mentioned it just a little bit when I first came on, but one thing we want to do in the fall, I don't have a date yet. We're trying to wait and just see what this whole COVID thing looks like, but we do want to have and host a school picnic, maybe after the weather begins to cool down. And I believe once that we have all of our students here, we're keeping them all together. We have no intention whatsoever of closing classes right now. We have a minimal COVID cases. We know that some families have been affected, and we are praying for those families. But we believe that we keep everybody going here, and like every year, we will grow immune. The more that we're together, we'll get out all of these little sicknesses, and our germs will kind of become more used to each other, and I think we'll be able to move on. And so we're hoping later in the fall to have a school fall picnic. So more information about that will come, and that way will give us an opportunity to just kind of get to know each other more on a personal level, and just make relationships as we move forward through the school year. And the last thing that I do want to touch on, because I want you to be able to say that you heard it from me, we take the trust that you give us very seriously here at Wayne Christian Academy, and you've given us your most precious possession. And so we want to be honest, and we want you to know up front the plans for our school and the things that are coming up. One thing that we are right now in a negotiating period of, we are talking with a church that is looking to come to Jessup to start a Jessup campus. This church, we are not affiliated with this church. They are not affiliated with us, but they have reached out and asked could they rent our facilities for, right now they're looking at an event in the week of September. I believe it's September 15th through the 18th. And we have agreed to allow them to rent that space in that facility. There may be a more permanent meeting for them beginning in January. And so our school board, we're making it a matter of prayer. We are talking with this church about them using our facilities. And so if you've heard that in our community, I want to be the one to tell you, yes, it's true. Is there affiliation with the church and our school? No, there's not. But they will possibly be using our facilities in the future. They will be using it for an event in September and maybe in the future as well if things continue for them. Again, I know this season of COVID is very, a lot of things are unknown and unsure right now, but we believe that God's going to watch over us. He's going to protect us. He's done amazing things to get us to where we are right now. We are enjoying so much our facility and look forward to what this year's going to hold and how much the facility is going to grow in the student body. So remember, any questions you have, we are here to answer them, and especially if you're a new family, we want to be here to walk you through this whole process, getting to know the school, and anything that we can do to help you. So in the days ahead, if there's anything we can do for you, we would love to. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, give us a call.